So have an understanding that when I'm saying who is the complainant in your court case, it can only be the person who you injured or the person who is. An injury doesn't mean by physical force. Injury means you hurt their ears or you hurt the rules of ordinance. Anytime you have a license for something, you have to have a lot. You have to follow the rules and regulations. But why do you need a license? Why do you need a license for anything when God made this earth for you to live in and just to be good or bad or whatever? It's called free will, right? But thank God that there are rules and regulations so that you don't just go raping everybody and manslaughtering and serial killer. You know, there are rules to follow. So I'm going to read something to you. Who is the complainant or the injured party? The state of PG County is just a witness. The state does not acknowledge constitutional law. A person, by legal definition, is an employee. An employee or legal persons cannot own property, their own or own land. They own real estate. Now, look at the term real estate. You begin to believe that it's your land because it says real, the word real estate. But you really don't own the land. Do you know that when you do not pay the taxes on your land and they come and say, we're evicting you from your house, they're not actually evicting you from the land. They're evicting you from the address because they can own the address. They cannot own the land. A corporation cannot own land. Only people can own land. All right. So real estate, they're saying to carry a license has rules of engagement, right? And this is in anything. A license to own a business, a license to own a car, you don't even really own it. When a cop comes, they'll tow your car as if they paid for it with their own money. How do you let that happen? Because you don't seem to understand that these licenses control and own you, as if it's saying that you signed the contract, but you never read what was in the contract. You didn't read that they could come and take your house, when in actuality, they can't take your house. They can take the address. So, you know what a lot of people I've learned have done? Wealthy people, when they buy a house and the land on it, they change the address. They changed the address to their name. I used to work with a gentleman by the name of Michael Shapiro. He changed his address on his road to Mike Shapiro Road. I think it's actually Mike Shapiro Avenue is what he changed it to, because now it's owned by him. And you can't just take his land, even if and I'm pretty sure he has it in a trust or something. A license says that you're in violation of rules of that license, and that license makes him at or her at work. Engagement, and that license through the congruence of license law, there is a law called the congruence of license law, ties him into every other license. Just claim jurisdiction, making them prove jurisdiction, and they do have jurisdiction of him at work or you at work. All right, at work. And then you can say, I can see you have jurisdiction of me at work, but I maintain that I wasn't at work at the time. The court doesn't care if it wins or loses because they're perfecting bonds. Every time, do you know that the minimal bond on a civil case is $250,000? Some of it goes to the state, to the judge, to the prosecutor, but what amount of that bond goes to you? None. You're doing it for free. Why? Because 90% of convictions are on your own conviction. You said I am. I am that guy. You're a pronoun? You're a capitalized name? You're not. The court doesn't care if it wins or loses because they're perfecting bonds. And the entire time, the court's misdemeanor bond is like $250,000 apiece. So every time you show up That's why it's a 30-day or for the 30 to 60 to 90 days out, because that is the maturity rate on a bond. They make money off of you, and that's why you have to use jurisdiction, because jurisdiction wipes it all clean. Reckless endangerment doesn't matter. It's the license. It's not about the firearm or you having a license to have the right to. He has to do what's right or wrong, because that's the freedom of will. In life, you have the right to do right or wrong. Now, let me just say, there's no policy for that. But anytime they do policy, it's business. Anytime you hear policy and the word policy, it's doing business. And policies are acts and statutes. You got to remember the state of Maryland is not Maryland State. It's a foreign corporation who's pretending to be the state of Maryland. Pretending to be in your mind because they're only executing titles. And you believe it in your mind they're executing you. They are. The only thing that's in the state of Maryland is everyone that's working, because everyone has a license. Everyone has a title. And by titles, I mean judge, officer, not Bill, not John, not your God-given name by your parents. You are governor, mayor, chef, cook, sous chef, waiter, manager, owner, right? Title owner, trustee, right? These are all, and there's many titles, then that's what they are actually attacking. They're attacking your birth certificate and they're attacking your license. He wants, okay, so here we go. Policies are statutes and acts of statutes. They're only executing titles. The thing is, they can only find the title, and if he wants to be the title, why would anybody want to be the title? If you want to play their game, you can just say it wasn't reckless. I hit exactly what I was aiming for, and that I have to be doing reckless to have endangerment. In their world, breaking the rule or ordinance is criminal. In their world, doesn't exist outside of the box, which the box is the court. It's a box. The judge's seat, a box. You go to sit in the witness seat, a box. There's 2 tables for the prosecutor, a box, and your box as the defendant. You got to understand that the most important part of that court is you.